It is my current goal to get this channel to 500 subscribers by the end of the year, and so currently I'm doing a challenge where my Pokedex entry for those challenges is however many subscribers I have at the time. When I recorded the footage for this, we had 260, which means that we are using Swampert for a solo challenge. Swampert is honestly a pretty great Pokemon, and so we're going to have to take it on this little run. We go see our dad. He says no, actually help this sickly child catch a Ralts. Okay, great. We'll have to come back later to fight him, so we go up against Roxanne, who is not difficult because she is a Rock-type gym leader and, well, you know, Water-type. Then we go up against Brawly with the Fighting type, and this is not too difficult either because we have a fully evolved Pokemon at this point. So really, it just comes down to the fact that I have to remember that Special would be better against defensive Pokemon there. And then Watson, who is a nightmare for Water-type Pokemon, but not for Swampert because it's part ground, so we make it through that one pretty quickly. Then we do a little bit of gambling on the side, don't worry about that, we'll come back to that later. Then Flannery, Fire-type, meets Water, okay, yep. Then we go up against our dad, he'll actually fight us this time instead of dealing with a kid being like, can you please help me get my first Pokemon, which he doesn't do for us, which is interesting. But then we take down our dad. Then we go up against Winona, obviously here is where the Ice Beam move from all of our gambling comes into fruition. Thank you, sports betting. Then we go on to TNL. This is not that difficult for a Pokemon that can have both Hidden Power Dark and also the Water-type moves that help with all the Pokemon that are also weak to Water-type moves. Luckily, Swampert has some answers for pretty much every Pokemon gym leader here, so we're pretty good on that. Then there's some side mission stuff. Of course, you have to deal with some dudes who've got some major beef, and that can go for both the Pokemon and the Team Magma Knuckle guys. Then you get Rayquaza to come in. He's like, hey, go back to your rooms. Spanks him a little bit. Everyone's done. Now we go up against the final gym leader. This one is a water type, so we're kind of just on even ground. Eventually, you know, you have to really deal with Kingdra just constantly using rest. That's a real big issue. But eventually, you know, obviously you just hit it enough times and it goes down. Then you go up against Wally, the sickly child from earlier. He finally has a full team of Pokemon, but he's not as good of a rival as past generations, so he goes down. And you move on to the Elite Four, where the Dark-type place, you know, that's got some kind of scary Pokemon, but you've got some answers for most of the hard ones, like, for example, Ice Beam for Cacturne. Then, of course, you just have to use your Hidden Power Dark-type for all the Ghost-type Pokemon. That one is actually a pretty good answer for those. Then, for the Ice-type, a lot of them are also part Water, so it's just a matter of kind of taking advantage of the moves that you have that have the most amount of power. Nothing really super effective against one another here. Same thing as with the Water-type Gym Leader, which will also come back. And then, of course, Ice Beam carries you through all the Dragon-type Pokemon. It does every time. Love that for us. Then you get to go on to the Elite Four Champion, Steven's ex-boyfriend or whatever he is. I don't know what their deal is. Most of the time, I actually find the Earthquake is weirdly the best move to use here in 2 Water v Water, and that is how Swampert becomes a champion. So subscribe today and you can see your number add on to the Pokedex number for next week. See you then.